Already preseason priced at 30% off, you got it, take an extra 20% off. Now this only happens once a year. All grills and accessories 20% off. Best deal of the year on all gas, wood pellet grills, and the Big Green Egg. Everything in lawn and garden, including the Scott's 4-step annual lawn care program, 20% off. Even Benjamin Moore paint is 20% off. Visit the Yellow House at Sullivan's, where all gifts, garden, and home accents are, yes, 20% off. Come smell spring is in the air this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only, where everything is 20% off. Sullivan Hardware and Garden, 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan.
Hey fans, it's February, and that means new flooring at the JMV House. I'm here with Brian Kahn from Floors to Your Home. Brian, we're loving the new flooring and love working with you guys.
Thanks, JMV. We're really glad to have you and your family as customers.
Brian, tell us why all of the JMV fans should shop Floors to Your Home for their new flooring.
At Floors to Your Home, we buy overstocks, closeouts, and deeply discounted items from our suppliers by the truckload, so our customers save up to 50% every day.
And you have some really incredible February specials.
We do. Right now, get 3 rooms of hardwood, laminate, or waterproof flooring for just $359.
Wow, $359 for 3 rooms of new flooring. That's great. Plus, you have over 1,200 styles in stock.
So you can take your new flooring home today.
Fans, if you need flooring of any kind, Floors to Your Home is the place for the lowest prices on flooring anywhere in Indiana.
And we have 3 very convenient locations: Avon, Noblesville, and Brookville Road.
Who has the lowest prices on flooring?
Floors to Your Home. That's who.
Hi, this is ESPN's Mike Greenberg, and ESPN Bet is now live. The official sportsbook of ESPN features daily exclusives and offers with your favorite ESPN shows and personalities like me. New users get $100 in bonus bets after making any sportsbook bet. Download the ESPN Bet app to sign up today. I'll see you there. ESPN Bet. What a play.
Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Dave Matthews Band Live, Friday, June 28th and Saturday, June 29th, Ruoff Music Center.
He wakes up in the morning.
Pre-sale for City Card members now through Thursday, February 15th at 10 p.m. before the general public, Friday, February 16th at 10 a.m. Buy tickets at livenation.com. Don't miss Dave Matthews Band Live.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance. But not just any insurance. We're good at...
No.
Did you forget the parking brake? Yes, you forgot the parking brake. Insurance. When the forecast calls for cheeseball-sized hail insurance. Even shouldn't have parked under that tree. Insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
From the DriveHubler.com studios, this is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WIBC HD2, HD3, Indianapolis.
The Pacers head to the All-Star break in Toronto as they face the Raptors. Tonight at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Welcome to On the Horizon Weekly with Greg Rakestraw on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Happy Valentine's Day evening, and there are few things I can think of that, frankly, I have more of a passion for than Horizon League basketball. Perhaps Mrs. Rakestraw, who I am making listen to this show right now. Happy Valentine's Day, sweetie. But welcome to On the Horizon Weekly here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The next 60 minutes spent talking all things Horizon League, and frankly, we will very much have themes for our first 2 segments of the show. Not for the romantically inclined, but if you're from Green Bay, you're going to like segment number 1. If you're from Detroit, you're going to have a special affinity for segment number 2. And segment number 3, well, that's just for all y'all basketball fans that are out there. This reminder, we are less than a month away from the Barbasol Horizon League Basketball Championship. Semifinal Monday on March the 11th. Championship Tuesday on March 12th. Tickets are available now at horizonleague.com. It is more than just basketball. There will be Anthem School Day. There's the Vallejo Fan Zone. You can hang out in between sessions at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. And don't forget the KeyBank International Women's Day event, which will take place on Tuesday, March 12th. But from now until 7 o'clock, leading into Pacers and Raptors before we have an All-Star break. But obviously with the All-Star game being here, not much of a break in Indianapolis. We've got Horizon League to talk about, and let's do that. Now, opening segment of the show is dedicated to the Green Bay Phoenix. Well, in one sense, it's because their teams are both in first place. The men are 12-3, and they have the men's player of the week in Preston Reedinger. Then on the women's side, they are deadlocked, are the Phoenix with Cleveland State, both at 12-2. Both are 4 games clear of the field with just 3 weekends left to go. By the way, Green Bay and Cleveland State done with their matchups on the women's side. They have split each of those matchups, so it could be tiebreaker time by the time we get to the first weekend in March, which is the last weekend of the regular season in Horizon League play. But the Under Armour players of the week both play for the Phoenix, and both hail from the state of Wisconsin. Let's start the conversation on the men's side. It is time now for our Under Armour Men's Horizon League Player of the Week, and whether it's the men's player, the women's player this week, they're a member of the Green Bay Phoenix. It is Preston Reedinger that joins us on the men's side. Again, his team, one of the great stories in college basketball, after a 3-win campaign last year, 17 wins for the Phoenix, and they sit in sole possession of first place in the Horizon League, and Preston's a big part of that in his play over the course of the last 2 games. Preston, congratulations. What does this award mean to you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It means a lot. But at the end of the day, we're trying to keep the main thing, and we really just want to go after a tournament championship.
Well, the main thing on the last time you played against Youngstown State on Saturday is that you figured out a way to win with that one of not just your best player, but the best player in the league. No Noah Reynolds on Saturday, yet you guys overcome, and again, you have 26 points to lead the charge. What was that rallying cry like without him going into Saturday's game?
Absolutely. I think people overlook the adversities we had in the beginning of the year, and I think that really helped us. With people going down, we had a lot of key pieces in the beginning of the year, and just people stepping up at the right times. And we knew we had to pick our brother up. Noah's our best player, and he's the best player in the league. And we had to pick him up and do whatever we could to get a win.
So, just what has this run been like for you? Because, again, it's a completely different team than last year. So you guys did not expect to go through a 3-win season the way last year's group did. But what sort of expectations did you have going into the season?
I mean, we didn't have crazy expectations. We always talked about it. We're going to care, connect, and compete at the highest level, as Coach Sonny puts it. And we were just going to put everything out there we had and scrap for every little inch we could get. And I think that really put us in a good position to be where we are today.
I know part of the reason you ended up leaving Valpo to come to Green Bay was obviously a bit closer to home, being a Wisconsin native, being from Oshkosh. What else was it about the program that said, you know what, I'll take the jump, and I think I can help rebuild here?
Absolutely. Just another challenge. I felt like it just meant a little more to me to come home and fight for the program I watched growing up. And I think that we have a really special group of guys, and it just makes it even better to fight with them and be able to rebuild this program. All
right, so there are 4 different Division I programs in the state of Wisconsin. Why were the Phoenix the one that you were watching when you were growing up?
Just I was 40 minutes away, and it was just the closest, and my dad would always take me up to games. I always watched Kiefer Sykes. He was a big role model for me, and just how close it was.
That's really cool because, frankly, and Noah Reynolds talked about this as well, but he's got a lot of family from Green Bay. One thing he's always talked about is, hey, how do you recruit to Green Bay? What's kind of the selling points? But you grew up there. So to now be playing on the Resch Center floor when you grew up going to games there, what is that experience like for you?
It's really unbelievable. Just a total dream come true. And to have my family around here, coming to every game, and just even playing next to the Packers, growing up a Packer fan, It's really surreal and just a dream come true.
That is a wow factor for those that have not been there. And it's been a few years, but I've had the pleasure of calling a handful of games at the Resch Center. And yes, it is literally right next door to Lambeau. And Lambeau seemingly gets bigger by the year. I rarely get to use the word gargantuan. It seems appropriate in describing the overall specter, especially just coming out of a neighborhood in a Schwabenon, and boom, there you go. There's an NFL stadium. What's it like seeing that on not a daily basis, then, coming in and out of every home game?
I mean, it's awesome. Even when we go to Packers games, it's like, wow, we play right there. But it really just is surreal.
I know the last home game you played was against IUPUI a couple of weeks ago. It was an 11 a.m. game in front of thousands of screaming elementary school kids. What was that experience like for you?
It was awesome. It also just put it back into perspective of just going out and be able to play in front of the community. And we're role models to many of those kids, and just showing them what it's like to be a part of a team. And being a part of something that you can create something special.
This is very unique. You have one game this week. It is at home. It's a bit of a light week for you guys, but it's not going to be a light opponent. What's the scouting report on NKU coming up?
They got us good at their place, and just we knew they were going to be a physical team, and so our goal is just to match that physicality and bring it to them, and not get punched first.
You're down to 5 regular season games left to go. What are you and your team focusing on getting ready for the Barbasol Horizon League tournament?
We're just focusing one game at a time. The most important game is the next game, and that we're trying not to look too far ahead. We're not trying to look too much into the media and just staying focused on the task at hand.
And then finally, before we let you go, it's rare you can call your coach Sonny. As you have learned quickly, he is one unique cat, your head coach in Sundance Wicks. What's the best Coach Wicks story you can tell our listening audience?
I've totally forgot what game it is, but his movie references are easily the best, and he referenced Muhammad Ali. I'm pretty sure it was against Wright State at home, and he was just using the movie references that he always does and trying to get us pumped up, and that's his go-to, and it's just awesome.
Much like you guys lead the league standings, I'm pretty sure he leads the league in cool. Our Under Armour Men's Player of the Week is Preston Reedinger, the Oshkosh native that literally grew up rooting for the Phoenix, now is getting it done for the Phoenix and was named the top player in the league over the course of the past week. Thanks for the time today. Good luck with NKU and the rest of the season. Look forward to seeing you here in Indianapolis coming up in the month of March.
Thank you.
From one member of the Fighting Phoenix to the other, because Green Bay had both Under Armour Players of the Week this week. You just heard from Preston Reedinger. Now we talked to Natalie McNeil on the ladies' side, where the Phoenix are 12-2 heading into action tomorrow night. Natalie, thanks for the time. And simply put, what does this award mean to you?
Well, first, thanks for having me. I think it's really special. This is the third time someone different on our team has gotten this award this week, so I'm very honored to been selected out of a lot of great players this week, and obviously among my teammates as well.
I remember having that conversation with Jasmine Kondrakiewicz a couple of weeks ago, when there's not really kind of a dominant player on your team. I think at the time, the leading scorer on the club, was no more than 13 points per game. So I guess just your thoughts on having that balance, knowing that on any given night, it can be somebody's night for your team.
Yeah, I think it's really special. It's definitely something that Green Bay culture has always focused on, that there isn't just one dominant player and that everybody finds a way to contribute in different ways, whether that's scoring, rebounding, defending. We've got a couple different people, really everyone that can do anything on any given night, like you said. And I also think it's special because it makes us a lot harder to guard, harder to scout, and just overall makes us a better team.
Again, Natalie McNeil, the Under Armour Women's Basketball Player of the Week for the Horizon League, is our guest. Greg Rakestraw on the Horizon Weekly, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Second year in Green Bay, from Wisconsin, began your collegiate days at St. Louis. Why was Green Bay the right place for you to continue your career when you made that move nearly 2 years ago?
Well, Green Bay has such a great culture and such a history of winning and appreciating the culture and the teammates and everything that comes along with it. Plus, coming home and being able to play in my home state's been really special. Getting to have a lot of familiar faces and family in the crowd's really important to me. And then, obviously, Coach Borseth really makes the environment feel like everyone's just one big family here in Green Bay. So, really, the decision wasn't hard for me at all. And as soon as they were willing to, offer me and bring me back home to Wisconsin, it was a pretty quick decision.
When you like three answers, you mentioned culture twice, and that to me is very important and clearly cognizant of that. So, consider this the elevator speech. If I said, describe the culture of the Phoenix, where do you begin?
I'd say Green Bay is all about players who come in and want to work hard and do things for the right reasons. It's not a selfish style of basketball. Everybody wants to contribute for the greater goal of winning and enjoying their college experience as a Phoenix and as a collegiate athlete, because at the end of the day, you're going to look back and want to have a great experience with great teammates and great coaches.
All right, so you are getting ready to embark on the longest road trip in the league, not in terms of time spent away from home, it's just one weekend, but you are literally going from west to east, or maybe better said north to southeast, from Green Bay to Robert Morris. So what does that travel look like to make the trip from Green Bay to Pittsburgh?
Well, fortunately enough, we're going to charter fly there this afternoon after practice. So it's not, fortunately, we're very lucky. It's not too long of a trip for us, but like you said, it's definitely the longest one. It's just like any other travel day, really, just a new place, get a new opportunity and a new experience.
All right, so with that, you guys are, and again, Robert Morris is the opponent coming up tomorrow, but you guys are locked in a heck of a title fight with Cleveland State. Both teams with 2 losses in league play going into the weekend. I realize your focus is on Robert Morris, but I guess just your thought as to being a part of what appears to be a pretty good fight for first between 2 great teams in the league. Your thoughts on how that's shaping up with 3 weekends left to go?
Well, I think part of it is you can't take any team for granted. You got to build up wins and take every night as an opportunity to get better rather than looking forward, to what's to come and who's going to win. It's about getting better and taking what's in front of you and not looking too far ahead, I think.
This is obviously a very tradition-rich program. I know last year kind of came up 1 win short in terms of here in Indianapolis. To be a part of the group that gets the Phoenix back to March Madness, what would that mean to you and your teammates?
Oh, it would mean everything. I think the entire year our focus has been, what's to come in March, but let's do the work early so then once March comes, we don't have to – we're not nervous. We can be confident going into playing. It would mean the world to me. It's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and nothing to take for granted, that's for sure.
Again, our Horizon League Women's Basketball Player of the Week presented by Under Armour is Natalie McNeil, as the Phoenix both have teams that are atop the league standings, and they have the respective Players of the Week this week in league action. Natalie, thanks so much for the time. Safe travels to Pittsburgh, and best of luck tomorrow night.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, the Cheeseheads love that segment of the show. If you're from Detroit Rock City, the next segment is dedicated all to you. A non-basketball athlete will explain why, and remembering a legend of this league, the city of Detroit, and a former NBA world champ. That comes your way next as you're listening to On the Horizon Weekly on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's JMV, and the future of joint pain relief is here. It is called QC Kinetics. You've heard me talk about this for months. I'm going through it with my knee right now. I'm 54. I love to hoop it up. I was struggling a bit. I didn't want to go through surgery. I didn't want downtime and certainly no drugs. So I went to the root of the issue with my body's own healing properties. We're talking advanced regenerative medicine with QC Kinetics. Again, a knee, hip, shoulder, back, no surgery, no drugs, no downtime with QC Kinetics. Do what I'm doing right now with QC Kinetics. In fact, the demand is so strong, they are expanding their hours to include Saturday appointments. Tell them that I sent you. 317-559-PAIN. Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. 317-559-PAIN. Again, 317-559-PAIN. QC Kinetics. 317-559-PAIN.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COOL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code COOL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code COOL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Watch out for the Woj bombs. They'll be flying Thursday night when ESPN insider and podcaster Adrian Wojnarowski hosts his Woj Pod live at the Vogue Theater with the Indiana Pacers' Tyrese Halliburton and NBA Hall of Famer Grant Hill. Tickets are $50 and include food and beverages, and every attendee gets some sweet Woj Pod merch. Doors open at 7, show starts at 8. Go to bit.ly/WojPod Live today. Tickets are flying. That's bit.ly/WojPod Live to get tickets now. The trail to Twin Peaks, Indianapolis is currently under construction. I-465 is getting a bit of a facelift, but there are alternate routes to reach the peaks. If traveling north, exit 71st Street, take Shadeland to 82nd Street and take a left. Traveling southbound, exit 96th Street and take a left on Corporation Drive. From there, follow Bash Street until you find Twin Peaks. Your local Twin Peaks Lodge and favorite 29-degree draft beers are waiting for you.
Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Weather in Indiana. In a couple of weeks, we go from Arctic, sub-zero degrees, to temperatures above freezing with buckets of rain, and you know what that produces? Potholes. I have my experience already, and AAA has had my back. They'll do the same for you. Pothole worries are a pain in the you-know-what, and that's one of the reasons why I'm a AAA member, for the peace of mind of their roadside assistance. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas, lock your keys in the car. AAA is there 24/7, 365, and if you need new tires, AAA has got you covered with their mobile tire service. My Pit Crew, they bring the tire shop to you just like they did to me. It's easy. Just visit mypitcrew.com, pick out your tires, and schedule the install. And AAA members get a discount on My Pit Crew tire installation, so do yourself a favor and join AAA today. You can go to AAA.com, call 844-GO-AAA-GO, or stop by your local AAA office today.
The new year is here. Time for change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, and AI with My Computer Career in just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Hey everyone, it's Jake from Payless Liquors. Charlie said sell it, so stop by one of our 26 locations and stock up with these great deals. Modelo 18 packs for $27.99. Four Roses Yellow Label Fifths for $19.99. Smirnoff Red Label half gallons for $16.99. Canadian LTD half gallons for $11.99. Courvoisier pints for $10.99. Lord Calvert half gallons for $9.99. And Oyster Bay Sauv Blanc for $9.99. Check our website to reserve hard-to-find items through our contact page. Why pay more when you can pay less here at Payless Liquors?
Say hello to the power, performance, and precision of Ram trucks at Kahlo and Noblesville. The strength and style of Ram, combined with the experience and service you'll only find at Kahlo.
Right now, save up to $13,000 on new 2023 Ram 1500s.
See the massive inventory of Ram trucks at hellokahlo.com or visit the new showroom on State Road 37 in Noblesville.
All rebates and incentives included in final discount. Stock number KCN 230115. TRX models excluded from all offers. See dealer for details. Offer absolutely ends February 29, 2024.
Welcome back to On the Horizon Weekly, a Valentine's Day edition. I love all of you guys for listening to the show. On 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, we also appreciate our great partners like the Capital Group and IUPUI. All Phoenix all the time in segment number 1, all Motown in segment number 2. And these are two interviews that, frankly, we did last week. We simply ran out of time to bring them onto the program. but I knew I would save time this week for them. So this actually happened about 10 days ago. If there has been a fan moment of the year in the Horizon League, it would be this. If you caught last weekend's Oakland men's game against Cleveland State, I'm all for things that are unique and different. I've never seen someone getting their head shaved to try to distract a free throw shooter. That happened with more than one person in the game a week and a half ago. Let's talk to the Oakland University swimmer that was behind it all. You know, we have not had an athlete from another sport on the Horizon Weekly. We have focused on basketball, but the men's and women's swimming and diving teams in Oakland, well, frankly, gave us a very compelling reason to talk about them, other than their historical run of success, whatever league they have been in, by, getting haircuts during the game against Cleveland State last weekend. And the man that has become internet famous in the last week for getting a rather significant mop of hair shaved off during the game is Ian Allen, who is kind enough to join us now. Ian, I'll start off with the same question I asked you off the air. You just lost a lot of hair in early February. How's the cold weather on the north side of Detroit treating you about that right now?
Oh, yeah, my head's a little sensitive. I'm not going to lie. Definitely, getting used to it a little bit.
The folks on SportsCenter were quick to point out, hey, swimmers shave their heads all the time. You had some serious salad up there. When was the last time you had shaved your head for swimming reasons or otherwise?
Last time I shaved my head was high school. And that time I did it completely bald. So I'm definitely used to it. This is definitely not my first rodeo, but it's been a while since high school.
All right, though, is this the first rodeo of someone from the swimming team getting their head shaved during a free throw? Is that a first?
That is definitely a first.
Who thought of this idea? What was the genesis of this?
So this is about a day before the game. Everybody was getting their head shaved already. We decided we as a team were going to do it. And I was reluctant to do it at first, but then at one point I was like, I'll do it if my friend Aubin Nugent does it. I didn't think that he would do it. And then he sat down and he got his head shaved. So I'm like, I'm screwed. And so we were like, the basketball team came down for one of our meets. They had shirts off, body paint, masks on. They brought a lot of energy to our meet, so we decided to return the favor. And I think it was the day before the game, somebody's like, it was Joey Countryman, one of the freshmen here at Oakland Swim and Dive, and he said, you should definitely shave your head before this game. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And, yeah, I'll definitely do it before the game just so we look a little bit more unified. And then Alex Lacken, who's another freshman, he said, why don't you just do it during the game? And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. We have a plugged-in clipper, though. And he's like, oh, yeah, we could just use our student manager's, wireless clipper that he uses. So we got that out, and we decided maybe we could do it at the timeouts. Maybe we could do it at halftime. And then we were thinking, why don't we put some use to this? Why don't we distract the other team from actually making those free throws? And I think it worked. I mean, 61% of those free throws were made.
Cleveland State's a good team. You hold them 61%. You did your job. So was there any haircutting going on when it wasn't free throws being shot? Was it only while free throws were taking place?
For me, yes. Okay. There was another guy who came over, saw my head getting shaved, and then he said, I want in. And so we grabbed him. I showed him to everybody on the team, and everybody on the team was cheering. And I was like, oh my God, wow! And so we started kind of just shaving his head during the game at one point. And I think it was ESPN who coined the term the blacktop barbershop.
Love it.
But most of the time it was me who was doing the free throws. It was that other guy who he just decided he wanted a haircut at that point too.
Who had the common sense to bring a garbage bag so you didn't make a mess in the stands at the arena?
Oh, I think that was me, but I almost forgot. I was reminded. I was reminded by somebody. They were like, "Remember the trash basket?" I was like, "Oh my God, yes." So, yeah.
The janitorial staff appreciates your consideration. And clearly, the basketball team had already kind of paid it forward by showing up at one of your meets. For those who don't know, literally the natatorium at Oakland and the basketball gymnasium are literally right next to each other. So all athletes cross paths, but you guys especially will do that. What was the players' reaction to what you were doing during the game and after the game?
So during the game, there was a guy, I think his name was Dylan Arnett, who he scored on himself. We were kind of heckling him and kind of like, chirping at him a lot. And at one point we were cheering him on, like he was like part of our team. And he thought it was funny. He was laughing during, warm-ups right before like they would go on. And I think at one point at the free throw, he looked at us and he started like trying to hype us up a little bit, and we were going crazy. I didn't see much of a reaction during the game, which props to them.
Right.
But I know after the game, our entire basketball team was like, "That was wild. Like, you're not going to see that at any other school, and you're not going to see that with any other swim team." So. Yeah. At
what point does your phone start blowing up? Do you have it with you during the game? Are you checking it during the game? Is it after the game? Because like I said, I use the term internet famous, and we're having this conversation 4, 5, 6 days removed from the game. What have the social media hits been like for you since that game up to this point?
Oh my God. I had my phone downstairs in the pool. The pool's on the first floor. The basketball court's on the second floor. I just had it in my locker on the first floor. And I swear not even 15 minutes after the game, Bleacher Report, March Madness posted me. Swim, which is one of the largest like swimming outlets in the country, wanted to collab on a post with me. And I'm like, oh my God. And then, I was blown up like that day, which was wild to me. And our team was blowing up that day, and our university. I was happy about that a lot. But then, the next day I wake up and I'm like, Barstool?
You're a popular guy. Are you aware of whom the sponsor is of the Horizon League men's and women's basketball tournament, Ian?
Great Clips.
It's not, but you've got the right genre. Barbasol is the sponsor of the men's and women's basketball tournament. I've got to think there's an NIL possibility for you if maybe you might replicate this on March 11th or 12th at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum in Indianapolis. What do you think?
Barbasol, if you're hearing this, I would love an NIL deal.
I won't even charge a finder's fee. I will see if I can connect the two of you. Thanks for being a good sport about this. I love the creativity and ingenuity. And much like the Oakland commentator said on ESPN+, college is fun. That's exactly what this is supposed to be about. Ian, thanks for the time, and good luck in the upcoming Horizon League Swimming Championships, which take place here in Indianapolis real soon. Thanks for the time.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me.
In fact, Ian and his teammates are probably in the Pulpit Auditorium right now because that championship starts tonight and run through Saturday. You want to go? Tickets are available when you walk into the famous IU Auditorium on the campus of IUPUI. Obviously, we like to keep things fun and jovial on this program, but we also want to make sure we honor a legend when one leaves us unexpectedly, as was the case last Sunday. Earl Cureton passed away at the age of 66. Earl, a former first-round draft pick, played at the University of Detroit, as it was known back then. And even then, the Titans were in the early days of what is now known as the Horizon League. Earl had been doing both Pistons and Detroit Mercy broadcasts in Detroit. Did the Detroit game last Saturday. He left us way too soon, passing away unexpectedly on Sunday. Last week, I caught up with the radio voice, Dan Hasty, of the University of Detroit Mercy Titans. Here's our conversation from a few days ago for On the Horizon Weekly. Well, we are thrilled that Dan Hasty is able to join the program tonight on the Horizon Weekly on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I wish for his sake he was talking about the first victory the Detroit Mercy Titans have had in men's basketball this year. That's not the case, and especially the reason I'm about to give. The city of Detroit lost a legendary son of Detroit who played at the University of Detroit, as it was called then spent 18 years playing professional basketball, has broadcast Pistons games, Detroit Mercy Titans games, including the Saturday game at Callahan Hall. Earl Curelton passed away unexpectedly at the age of 66 on Sunday morning, and the man that was on the call of that game with him and a good friend is Dan Hasty that joins us now. He is the voice of the Titans, and I know it is very strange to talk about Earl in a past sense like I just did. How are you and the greater Titan community handling this over the last, say, 72 to 96 hours?
Greg, thanks for having me. And, as you might expect, it's just devastating. I mean, working the game with him the day before and then hearing about what happened not even 24 hours after the fact, it's just surreal. And, the shock of it is still barely set in. I mean, you're working with someone, they're perfectly normal. I mean, the way I found out was that I got a call from my SID at Detroit Mercy, and the first thing he asked me, he said, "Hey, was Earl off at all during that broadcast on Saturday?" And I said, "No, not even in the slightest. No, we had a blast." And usually I do radio. Typically, I do radio all season. So whether we're home or away, I'm on the radio side, and he's on the TV side with someone else. So me, or I guess in this case, the television guy and I actually decided just on a whim to switch roles for this particular weekend. Of all the gin joints in all the world, go figure, to have switched for this particular weekend. So having been on the call with him, we had a great weekend. He called me after the game on Thursday night. We were rapping about our team and kind of doing some venting at the same time. But again, nothing out of the ordinary whatsoever. And he was supposed to do the Detroit Pistons broadcast the following morning, the Sunday afternoon game. And, of course, he didn't show up. He didn't answer his phone. Nobody could find him. And when that sort of thing happens in the radio business, you start getting real worried.
If you could, I guess the sort of reverence in which he was held in that city, and he is a Detroit native, getting to play in the NBA for as long as he did, part of the 94 world champion Houston Rockets. His dream lived out in getting to play for that long in the NBA, but he spent 3 years playing for his hometown team in the Pistons, and now the broadcasting that we just mentioned, Earl the Twirl, as he was known in that town, what sort of role did he kind of play in the city of Detroit in the hoop scene?
What's really interesting is that, there's that old adage, you never know what you have until it's gone. That actually did not apply to Earl Curelton in that building. We all knew exactly what he was to us and what we had with him. I mean, he got his number retired about 4 years ago. And, yeah, he had a very nice couple of years in his career at Detroit Mercy. He actually started his college career at Robert Morris.
Right.
So apropos that the last game he ever called was Detroit Mercy against Robert Morris. So figure that too. So that what happened was that he had a decent career at Detroit Mercy. He was playing behind a bunch of great players, John Long, Terry Tyler, a lot of guys who you can look up to have pretty remarkable basketball reference pages. But he had a great final season, and then he went on to be one of the greatest ambassadors that Detroit Mercy has ever had. And it's not a school that has a whole lot in that department. So he was one of the true people that had the entire basketball community, at his beck and call. And that was something that was just so important and vital to that school. So when he got his number retired, it was just as much about everything he had done beyond his basketball career as it was for what he did on the court. So, he never, it's funny with Earl. He commanded respect, but he never demanded respect. He was always such a respectful, outstanding person, and he started his whole career. And he wrote a book about his career that actually came out a couple of months ago. Go figure that, too. So he put together this book, and he talked about the pride he took in being a role player and being something that can help function a team at a high level and how rare that is, especially in today's basketball culture. He took a lot of pride in that, and he carried that with him throughout his entire life.
A couple more things, and then we'll let you go. Dan Hasty, voice of the Detroit Mercy Titans, kind of join us in kind of these circumstances on the Horizon Weekly here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. One of the thing I want to point out is that more than 30 years removed from his days of wrapping up his playing career, by the way, led the team to the NCAA tournament his senior year. They were number 20 in the country that season before he would go off on his professional basketball odyssey. He went back to complete his diploma, the promise he made to his mother and family, and did that in 2011 when he was in his 50s. That had to be a great sense of pride for both him as well as the school that he was a UDM graduate.
Yeah, and you know what? He did that all the while. I mean, you talked about his NBA career, and, we did mention Basketball Reference here once. I would implore anybody who really wants to understand how much of an asset he was to go look at that page, because what it's interesting about it is that you see all these different NBA stops. I think about a decade's worth, but the back maybe decade of his career, he played a lot of overseas basketball, which is fairly normal. A lot of guys will typically go overseas if they can't cut it in the NBA, but rarely do those players overseas actually get brought back.
Right.
And there were multiple times in which NBA teams brought Earl back from overseas. He had even had an injury that had cost him an entire season. So even despite that, beyond the stuff about being overseas, teams brought him back. Earl was on the Houston Rockets, as you mentioned, the NBA title team. And that was a situation where they brought him in from overseas because Hakeem Olajuwon knew Earl, because Hakeem Olajuwon knew Julius Erving and Moses Malone, and Earl was their backups for a period of time. He played with Michael Jordan. He played with the Bad Boys Pistons. I mean, so to come in and be able to pick up, pieces and be able to help build a team and get them to an NBA title almost at the drop of a hat just goes to show what other people in the basketball community thought of him.
I realize your focus is on going to be broadcasting the game, and that's how you honor your friend. Any word yet as to exactly how the Titans will honor Earl's memory for the next time out, next home game at Callahan Hall, and for the kind of final month of this regular season?
Well, I know there's still a lot in the plans for that, and I don't know if that happens for the game coming up against IUPUI on Valentine's Day, or if there's something that happens in a game beyond that. But I have no doubt that they will put together quite a lot. What was interesting is that last night, the Detroit Pistons NBA G League team, they're called the Motor City Cruise, was playing also in Detroit, and the team that they played was the Portland Trailblazers G League affiliate. They're called the Rip City Remix. Well, why does that matter to the University of Detroit Mercy? Well, on that G League roster for the Rip City Remix is Antoine Davis, the son of the head coach of Detroit Mercy, Mike Davis, who became the second leading scorer in NCAA history. So he came back to Detroit, and Earl was supposed to be a keynote speaker at that event. Even myself, he got so many people tickets to that game last night, including myself. And so we were all there, and it almost kind of had a bit of a double meaning last night. It was a game, and it was a chance to celebrate Antoine Davis coming back to the city in which he built his college career, but it was also a chance to remember and to pay tribute to Earl Curitan.
Well, Dan, I'm hoping for you guys there are happier times in the very near future. I appreciate your time and perspective on such a topic, and I'm looking forward to the next conversation we have, which, again, is simply on a happier note. Thanks for the time and the remembrance tonight. We greatly appreciate it.
Greg, anytime. Thanks for having me.
The Titans certainly have one they might be able to get this evening against IUPUI. That is one of the many men's games as part of this evening's slate. Let's thank more of our great sponsors that make this show possible. Our friends at Gatorade, Deister Machine, and Franciscan Health. We'll crunch the numbers with Kelly Ford when we come back and wrap it up next. It's on the Horizon Weekly on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Are you dealing with foot, knee, hip, or back pain? We can help. Hi, this is Phoebe with the Good Feet store, and I want to talk about your discomfort. Did you know that your feet have a quarter of all the bones in your whole body? With 4 arches, 33 joints, and over 100 ligaments and tendons in each foot, it's no wonder so many people suffer from foot, knee, hip, and back pain. Stop throwing your money away on all those over-the-counter products and expensive shoes that just can't do what the Good Feet store can. At America's Arch Support Store, we teach you everything you need to know about how our patented 3-step system will work to solve your problems so you can get back to living the life you love without your pain getting in the way. Come in today for your free personalized fitting and test walk and trade in those bad feet for some good feet. Don't just live with the pain. Discover your options at the Good Feet store. We're in Fishers and Greenwood. Call 829-1040 or visit goodfeet.com to make your appointment today. Get back to doing what you love with Arch Supports from the Good Feet store.
Got cabin fever? We've got the cure. The Ford 69th Annual Indianapolis Boat, Sport, and Travel Show, February 16th through 18th and 21st through 25th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Over 750,000 square feet of the latest boats, RVs, power sports, motorcycles, Tackletown USA, travel destinations from across North America, and much more. Save money and buy tickets online at IndySportsShow.com. And don't miss the 26th Annual Indiana Deer, Turkey, and Waterfowl Expo during the final 3 days of the sports show, February 23rd through 25th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. It's the largest hunting expo in the Midwest, displaying the latest hunting, archery, and waterfowl gear. Hunting outfitters from around the globe. Learn from the pros at the Hunting Seminar Series. Get your deer scored and see the Hoosier Record Book Hall of Fame. One ticket gets you into both shows. For details and to save on tickets, visit IndySportsShow.com. Another Renfro production.
Hey, it's Andy Sweeney for Zero Res of Indy. February is the month of love, and Zero Res wonders, when's the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it deserves? If it's been a while, then you need Zero Res of Indy. You can find them online, ZeroResIndy.com or 317-388-5141. And right now, they're offering you a great deal. The Love Your Rug Fan Special. That's right. Get 3 rooms cleaned plus a free hallway starting at just $119 plus 20% off all other services. Don't do it yourself. Have the pros at Zero Res get you taken care of today. That's 3 rooms and a free hallway starting at just $119 plus that 20% off all other services. Give them a call today, 317-388-5141 or online, ZeroResIndy.com, and tell them you want the fan special.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Getting a degree is all about timing and what's important to you. For me, life was already happening. I was married with 2 kids, but I knew in order to set myself apart, I needed to further my education.
Indiana Tech has quality, affordable degree programs to advance your career and the personalized support that helps you succeed. We have in-demand programs in areas like business, healthcare, information technology, cybersecurity, engineering, criminal justice, and many more.
Getting a degree in healthcare administration helped me stand out when it came time to advance my career. The flexibility of online classes worked great for me, and the instructors were really supportive. I was even honored as an outstanding graduate in healthcare administration. Had I done this right out of high school, I wouldn't have been as successful.
Take the next step towards your bright future. Learn more today how Indiana Tech helps busy working adults advance their careers at online.indianatech.edu.
Registration for the next class session ends February 23.
Nothing says I love you like romantic, timeless jewelry. Even better when you can save an extra 20%. Right now at Diamonds Direct, all fashion favorite jewelry is 20% off. That's earrings, bracelets, pendants, bands, colored gemstone jewelry. Get 20% off Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices. Special financing, too. Get her something she can enjoy and appreciate for years to come. A fashion favorite from Diamonds Direct. Shop in-store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Welcome back for the final time. It is On the Horizon Weekly on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Tonight we serve as the pregame show. Pacers and Raptors. Pat Boyle and Mark Boyle standing by coming up at the top of the hour. Thanks to our great sponsors, Cripe, the Indianapolis Indians, IntelliBuilding, and Miller Insurance that make today's show possible. We always wind up the show crunch numbers with Kelly Ford. Good evening, my friend. How are you?
Good evening, Greg. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. All right, let's get right to it, knowing we're a bit pressed for time. Even though Green Bay on the men's side is the team currently atop the standings at 12-3, it's the team in second that gets your attention from a resume standpoint. Let's start with the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Greg, that's right. So we know what's important to the selection committee, and Oakland's got some of that on their resume. They have a quad one win on the road against Xavier. There's a 97% chance that will remain a quad one win on Selection Sunday. They also have a quad two win on the road at Horizon League member Youngstown State. There's a 78% chance that stays in quad two by Selection Sunday. And perhaps more importantly than anything else, Oakland is currently 11-0 in quad four. They have 0 quad four losses as of right now. The selection committee really likes that.
So again, in terms of potentially getting the best seeding for the league, it's going to be a one-bid league, but the best resume when it comes to tournament time, you're saying, is Greg Campy's squad, correct?
Yeah, that'd be Oakland right now. With that quad one win, the quad two win, and clean in quad four, those are the things the committee's really looking at, especially when you're looking at that pool of one big league's AQs. And you're talking about those seeds from, 12 to 16. Those are the differentiators.
All right, so with that, everybody is in action tonight. At least there's one team that has the bye. But 5 games all being played tonight in terms of Horizon League men's basketball. Give me a couple of games you're keying on.
Yeah, the biggest game tonight for me, Greg, I know we said Oakland's the team to watch with the resume, but you mentioned it. Green Bay right now is number one in the league standings. They're one of the best stories in all of men's college basketball this year. They just picked up their best win of the season this past Saturday at Youngstown State. They lead by 1 game, as we mentioned. But the old saying goes, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And Northern Kentucky, they're the defending league tournament champions, I should say. The Norse beat Green Bay in Highland Heights on January 20th. The Phoenix will have their mind set on revenge tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Northern Kentucky at Green Bay.
Again, Youngstown State and Cleveland State. What else catches your attention about that game?
So that one's on Saturday, Greg, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. It's interesting to me because Youngstown State is still in the race for the regular season title, and Cleveland State is just a half game back, of a top 4 seed and a home quarterfinal game. This is a rivalry game. A win would go a long way for both teams and their respective seeding pursuits. So that's one to watch on Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, ESPN+, Youngstown State at Cleveland State.
All right, obviously we have known for some time the women's championship will come down to Green Bay and Cleveland State. You and I had to have pre-show meetings to figure out who the tiebreaker belonged to at this point in time because their records are so similar and, in fact, spot on the same in terms of league play at 12-2. So what's kind of on your radar for the league's top 2 women's teams entering this weekend of league action?
Yeah, these are 2 great teams on the women's side. And, Greg, you talked about it. Both 12-2, co-leaders right now in the standings. They have a 3.5-game lead on third place. So it really is these 2 teams and then a little bit of a gap between everybody else. Right now, if you're looking at it from a resume standpoint, Green Bay's got the stronger of the 2 resumes. They're 2-0 in top 25 net games, which is really important to the committee. They've got 3 top 100 wins. Cleveland State, they've got a top 50 win. That would be against Green Bay, funny enough. So as things stand right now, Green Bay has a resume that is worthy of an at-large bid. They're in the most recent bracketology. They're one of the last 4 teams with a bye, so not going to the play-in rounds, but they would have a bye straight into the field of 64 or the round of 64. Cleveland State, right now probably needs the AQ, but they're a strong AQ, right? They're a 12 or a 13 seed most likely with the resume they have. And to get there, the winner of our league is going to have to beat the other one here somewhere along the way. So someone's going to pick up another great win down the stretch.
All right, the women's game to watch is what in your estimation?
Yeah, Greg, I'm looking at Milwaukee going on the road to Cleveland State. It's on Saturday, noon Eastern on ESPN+. That's a game I've got circled. Milwaukee right now just a half game back from that number 4 spot, which is important because it gives you that quarterfinal game at home. And, of course, Cleveland State knows they don't want to trip up and give Green Bay the inside track to that 1 seed. So that's the game this week on the women's side that I've got my eye on.
As always, Kelly, a pleasure, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, Greg. We appreciate you.
And to wrap up this edition of On the Horizon Weekly on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, we have our local organizing committee chairman, J.R. Renbarger from Shield Sexton, joins us now. J.R., good evening, my friend. Good to have this conversation with you again. And explain to me in layman's terms exactly the role you play for the Horizon League men's and women's basketball tournament.
Thanks, Greg. Well, it's great to be on the show. Thanks for having me. I'd say in a nutshell, the role for the local organizing committee is to kind of partner with the Horizon League to extend their reach, right? And so we've got a group of volunteers. I had the honor of being the chair of that group this year, and our goal is to help kind of establish some opportunities for the tournament, and then find corporate partners and sponsors along the way as well. So we're working shoulder to shoulder with the Horizon League, and really just trying to put on a great show and showcase Indianapolis for the teams that make their way here in March.
Listen, we're 4 or 5 decades into telling the story of Indianapolis as perhaps one of the best sports host cities on the planet. And so it's kind of built into the generations. This is what you do. I guess your thoughts on the unique niche that the Horizon League tournament plays kind of in the greater sports scene of Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, the Indy Sports Corps has done this LOC model and has showcased Indianapolis for decades. And I think when the Horizon League decided that Indianapolis was a landing spot for their tournament about 5 years ago, that model picked right up and took off with it. I think what the Horizon League, to me has really been great is you're really getting a glimpse at basketball up close in a way that you don't always get the opportunity to do. And I think, another unique aspect is that for the month of March, this really kicks off postseason basketball. And so when those Final Four teams on the men's and women's side make it to Indianapolis, and on Tuesday night when we crown a winner on both of those sides, those are the first tickets punched to the NCAA tournament. And so there's just a lot of excitement, and the Horizon League is excited to be the group that kicks that off.
There's a reason we use the hashtag March Starts Here, even though we know there are 10 days in the month of March calendar. From a basketball standpoint, it starts here in Indianapolis on March 11th and 12th. All right, what is the best way for fans to get involved? Is there still more of a need for volunteers to help, or is it simply the best way you can help is butts and seats at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum?
That's exactly right. We are in a good spot from a volunteer perspective. The team that's been working the last couple months has got us to that point. And so for now, I'd say just get out and enjoy it. So horizonleague.com/Indy. There's still plenty of tickets to grab. Again, really good family-friendly event. We've got a lot of things that happen right on the State Fairgrounds and the Farmers Coliseum. We've got a fan zone. It's a lot of fun for patrons to go to in between games. And then we've got some amplifying events as well. So we've got a student day that Anthem has been a great sponsor of. And we've also got International Women's Day, which is something that KeyBank is a sponsor of this year. So a lot of great things for locals to get involved with. And then obviously if you're rooting on your team from out of town, get here and enjoy the city and the tournament.
JR, I will see you out there the 11th, 12th. If I do not see you beforehand at the finale for IUPUI on February the 28th. Thanks for the time and thanks for the friendship. We greatly appreciate it.
Greg, thanks for all you're doing. And again, thanks for having me on.
And that'll do it for us for this edition of On the Horizon Weekly. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll do it again next Wednesday night. Pacers basketball comes your way next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The trail to Twin Peaks, Indianapolis is currently under construction.